Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Liv Nakron. Let's start with the latest out of Rockdale County this morning. Let me show you some footage of what's happening where lawmakers are meeting about the ongoing issue in Rockdale County, and obviously so much concern. You know, you could smell chlorine and smog. So you could see smog from the chemical plant in Conyers in Metro Atlanta through at least Sunday. Want to let you know about that. But lawmakers want to step in and make sure that something like this never happens again. Atlanta News First reporter Brittany Ford is at the state capitol with more.
State lawmakers are calling for the immediate and permanent closure of BioLab. And you can take a look at your screen here. These were government officials and advocates who met here at the Capitol yesterday, drawing attention to repeated violations by the chemical plant and the lack of transparency on where things stand. Now, some have called on Governor Kim to declare a state of emergency for those affected. During a news conference Thursday, Kim said any sort of discipline would have to come from the EPA or state's Environmental Protection Division.
I mean, they have the leverage to do that. If there are violations, that's what they do every day. They don't need direction from me on that.
The shelter-in-place order in Rockdale County expired at 7 a.m. this morning. The school district also said that they will be heading back to class next week, but will be virtual until Wednesday. At the Georgia State Capitol, Brittany Ford, Atlanta News First.
What's up?
And in Atlanta, police say street racing is a growing problem all around the city. So Atlanta Police Chief Darren Shearbaum is talking about Operation Burnt Out. Atlanta News First Sarah Hammond tells us more as the city has faced this issue for the last few years.
We will hear from Atlanta Police Chief Darren Shearbaum and other law enforcement partners to talk about the impact of illegal street racing on the community. This conversation comes about 3 months after a new Georgia law was put in place, which creates stiffer penalties for illegal street racing and anyone hosting a drag racing event. Repeat offenders would face a felony charge, thousands of dollars in fines, and 10 years in prison. Back in June, Atlanta police said 4 street racing events were held in Atlanta in one weekend. Atlanta police said 7 suspects were arrested, with 3 arrested on charges stemming from allegedly organizing the races. And then in August, police say a woman was killed after 2 cars were racing on the interstate. And because of the ongoing problem, one Atlanta City Councilwoman began calling for stricter penalties tied to street racing back in November, calling it Erica's Law.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, we want to put legislation on the books that will make our city safe and to address a chronic and pervasive issue that has now went on for 2 decades.
That conversation with the chief and other law enforcement partners begins at 11. We'll bring you the information that comes from it. In Atlanta, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
And the Appalachia High School football team has their very first home game since 2 students, 2 teachers, including coach Richard Aspinwall, were killed and 9 others were injured in a mass school shooting a month ago today. The team played their first game since the tragedy last Friday. School leaders say they know that a lot of people want to show their support for the survivors of this tragedy, but they also are asking everyone to please leave tickets for Appalachia and Jackson County high school students and their families, and really they're the priority during this time. But you can, of course, watch the game on the school's YouTube channel and show your support. All right, let's turn now to First Alert weather. We have First Alert meteorologist Rodney Harris, and actually looks like you want to tell us about a traffic alert right now.
I was not intending on doing that, so I'm going to see if I can go through all these graphics so I can actually get you to the forecast, Joy. Okay. But what I will say, actually, if you don't mind, Joy, while I walk people through what they can expect, can you switch this to max 2 for me?
Yes.
Thank you very much. And what we can do while you do that, I appreciate you, is I will zoom out and let everybody know that if you do have to get on the roads this morning, thank you so much, Joy. If you do have to get on the roads this morning, we are in great shape. No major crashes or anything like that to report. So now that I have my right graphics up, I want to show you what you can expect today across Metro Atlanta. We are looking at the potential for an isolated shower or two later on this afternoon in Metro Atlanta. It's just like yesterday. We're not looking at much. I do believe that most of us will stay dry, but we do want you to know or not be surprised if you do see that shower. We have a lot of tropical moisture that's in place right now over North Georgia. That's why we're seeing all the clouds out there this morning. It'll stay cloudy throughout the entire day today because of those clouds. Won't be quite as hot today as it was yesterday. Yesterday we were up to 85 degrees. It's 85 degrees in Atlanta. This afternoon, 80 in Atlanta. Just about everybody else will be in the 70s, but because of that same moisture that's producing more clouds, that's why you see at noon a shower or two. So that's the story today. If you have any plans for Friday night football, high school football, you should be fine. Again, these showers are not the type of showers where you have to cancel your plans, and that coverage will be very hit or miss. Saturday and Sunday looks fantastic in Metro Atlanta. Highs are back in the low 80s both days. We'll see plenty of sunshine over the weekend, so it's a weekend that you can certainly enjoy. I will let you know that we're still watching the tropics over the weekend. There is a 40% chance that we'll see some type of tropical depression develop in the Gulf of Mexico. I'll tell you that it's very disorganized, the wave that we're looking at right now, and we're not even sure it's going to develop. But either way, it's not going to impact North Georgia. We have a cold front that's moving into North Georgia next week, and that same cold front that's going to move through North Georgia will help to turn whatever develops in the Gulf of Mexico away from us. So we are watching the tropics, but not for North Georgia. You don't have to worry about that, at least right now. But that cold front that I'm telling you about will definitely make it feel better next week. The cold front will move through on Monday, and so you'll start to feel that on Tuesday. By Tuesday morning, our lows will drop into the 50s throughout all of Metro Atlanta, so that'll feel really nice. And then the temperatures just sort of keep going down each morning for the rest of the week, the low 50s by like Thursday morning. And that means that if you're in the mountains by the end of the week, maybe even some upper 40s for you. So it'll definitely feel like fall next week, and starting Tuesday with that cooler air, we'll also see plenty of sunshine. So feeling like October next week. Can't wait for that. But until then, still in the low 80s again going into the weekend. Other than a slight chance of a shower or two this afternoon and evening in North Georgia, that's really it for the rain chances. No more rain over the 7-day forecast. No first alert. So we hope you guys make it an amazing Friday. I hope you have a great weekend. We do have an updated forecast for you on Atlanta News First at noon and always in the First Alert weather app. Until next time, we'll see you soon.